Good morning, magandang umaga, and welcome to today's episode of My PI Dream. Today we are on episode number 7 of the pavilion built in the backyard of Villa Feliz. And what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to talk a little bit about planning, doing some drawing of your own. And since we already have the slab in place, the next thing we have to do is any type of accessories that we want to do on our pavilion, we need to plan them ahead of time, so that we make sure that we have things that will fit inside our pavilion. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to go ahead and put this over to the side here, and let's go ahead and get today started. So without further delay, let's get today's video underway. Now that we've got our slab poured and it's in place, and I didn't show, but they actually very quickly put in some steps here as well so that we could easily get up into the pavilion here. And we have some drainage. You didn't see this as well. We have some drainage over here. We'll have a pipe that goes into the bottom of this. Drainage is a very important thing. We don't want all the water to go down into the corner of the yard, so we need to have proper drainage. So anyway, you see that the slab is in place, and the next thing that we have to do before we can actually start putting anything like the posts in, the posts that go on each one of these post base brackets that you see right here, before we do that, we have to have our layout, because this is all going to be covered up. The post will be covered up in a pedestal on each one of these post base brackets that you see right here. It's all going to be covered up. So we have to do our planning, and then we install our post. After we do the proper milling, we do the selignum, the treating, so that we don't get termites or water damage later on. And then we have to do a little bit of a finish. Now the finish can actually wait till later on, but since we are in rainy season and the finish is a stain that kind of repels water, we'll probably do that now so we don't do any damage while we're putting everything else in place. So what I'm working on now, you can see we have some electrical PVC here. We have PVC here for water to leave because there's going to be a sink here, and we have some electrical over here. What I have to do is provide the contractor with my expectations of what I want in this space right here. And this space is going to be a convenience area where we can put something like a little mini bar refrigerator out here. We'll put a little drawer for some of our utensils and whatever else that we need right here for this area. So I have to draw out, and I've done that already, but the good thing about drawing things out like this right here, which you can see, there's a little drawer and a little ref right there. We're gonna have a sink where I showed you over on the side. You might find that your spaces are not big enough, or you might find that it just doesn't feel comfortable where you're going to put any of your openings or your countertop or whatever. So this is a good practice to do. Take your drawing and do some type of a layout. And what we're going to do today, we're going to take some tape. You can see over there I have some tape and some spray paint. We're going to mark off. You can either use chalk line. Chalk line is the best because it'll wash off when you don't need it later on. And if you make a mistake, it's very easy. If you do the paint, unless you really know what you're doing with the paint, it's going to be there, and it makes it very difficult for making corrections. But since we already know the exact place that we want our little mini wall for our little bar area right here, what we're going to do is I think we're going to go ahead, masking tape, a little bit of paint, so we can get a good visualization. So I already know that what I had planned, I don't have enough space for this little area right here. This is probably going to have to move out 2 or 3 inches, maybe about 10 centimeters around on this side, and also this area right here to be able to facilitate what I want to put in this area right here. This wall that was only supposed to be 1 meter, very short, that goes out to here, might have to go out to about here, just a little bit further. So that's what's good about layout. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do some layout based on the little plan that we have right over here.
How did you know? Was it because of that effort or something else? We know that if we need 80% of the population to do something, it won't happen voluntarily. Even if
So what you see here is a rough layout. When I say rough, it's probably within a couple of millimeters of what we actually need for the formwork that's going to be our bar. It has little nooks inside it for things like convenience items, maybe a microwave, maybe a refrigerator, maybe a sink. And I think that's a pretty strong maybe for this project right here. So what I did this in advance, and what we'll have is tomorrow we'll have the architect come over and I'll explain to him exactly the way the layout. This will help out a lot right here, and I'll give them the exact measurements. He'll put that into a CAD program and show us a really neat design. So that will be something that we'll see in the next couple of days. So I think you can see the importance of why it's really important to get a rough layout on the ground for the actual size versus something that you start with a plan. Because you can see up here in the top section right here, I knew the sink was being really jammed in that little area, and it was just in the it did not have enough room for that. So now by putting it in this area by itself, and there's nothing inside this area right here, that this will be very easy. When you walk up to it, you're right over the sink right here, and it's not crammed into the corner like we had there. And what did we have to do? We just had to add just a little bit. You see, we had to, the end was right around here somewhere, and we had to extend it out just a little bit to gain that additional sink space, which is very, very important. So now that I have a pretty good grasp on what it looks like looking down into this counter piece that we have right here, next thing I need to do is also create a drawing looking into it from ground level, looking into where the holes are. So basically two-dimensional is what I need for the contractor. So, and the reason you do that is to make it a lot easier for his people to create any of the formworks that need to be done. Once they start putting this all together, it speeds up the process. And when you speed up the process and you have good drawings, it provides good accuracy and saves you money. Well, as you can see, the work never ends around here, and I'm doing some of the joining to get it nice and flat, the 6x6 post. Well, let me go ahead and introduce you. This is Mark, and you can see he's actually working on our project right here.
Hi.
Morning, Mark.
Hi.
So what Mark is working on, this is kind of like the finishing touches, because I don't have that on my plan. This is more of the finishing touches that has to do with the roofing design, the way that the appliances are going to be embedded in the little mini bar inside there. So we have some convenience factors inside here. So what you can see, and it's pretty accurate right now. He's done some modifications this morning, and you can see we have the little sink. We have a little bar sink that we have right here, so that we can wash cups and things like that. And what we have is, let's see, we'll start over here. Well, this is like a stove. We're not going to have a stove, but it's going to be a very small microwave that goes inside that area. We have a door covering that gives us access to the plumbing for the sink. And then to the right over here, we got a little mini ref, a mini ref bar. And that's in between the sink, and we're going to have a drawer and just an open area right over here. And then the granite top. Then there's going to be a lift above it, and then there's going to be a little extension that's a little bit higher, so you can sit on the outside and you can enjoy your favorite beverage along the little granite top right there. And I think what we're going to do for this part right here, I think we're going to make this a little bigger. We'll do a modification. I'll show you what I'm looking for in this area right here. Okay. But this pretty much grabs. This is not the tile that we're using, but it's here, I'm going to show you right now. We're actually going to be using something that looks like stone. This is the tile that we'll be using on the flooring project. I'm getting way ahead of myself on here, but since he has the design right here, it kind of helps. And we have pedestals, but we talked about it this morning. We need some place to put my little storage area that has my tools and all in it. And instead of doing pedestals underneath this little support area, which this is going to house maybe a TV we're thinking about putting inside there, we're going to take these two pedestals out. We're going to keep this consistent with the other pedestals we have. So we'll have 3 pedestals in the little bar area. And then this area right here is going to be, we're going to put the little tool chest, and it's a seating area too, because you can sit on top of that. And it will be a little bit higher. It will come approximately to the height of the pedestals over here, something like what he's doing right now. Let's take a look at the roofing design that you have on here. So now, this is very similar. It's the color, the roofing tiles are a little bit different that we're trying to secure. We're going to be working with the roofing person, the technician, the roofing seller here in the local area. But it's very similar. He's got the rounded curves inside there. And what we're going to try to do is match the same tiles that we have here on the house. So you'll see, and we'll have a little barrel over the top in the center. And then we just have to have something. They'll have finished trim that will go underneath the tile here and cover up the roofing ceiling finish that we're going to be having on the inside. And we're going to talk a little bit about that later on. So anyway, great job, man. Well, normally I would like to be working out there, but it's dark out there and it's raining out there, so I'm not out there. And I need to get this done so it's prepared for tomorrow. I'm hoping that we can set this up and put it on the slab tomorrow so that the contractor can actually start doing the form work around it. So, what we have here is a product called Selignum, all around clear with micro emulsion technology. Now, Selignum is the leader over here in the Philippines for termite treatment of wood, and that's what this is right here. Now, they have different products on the market, but the thing about the all-around clear is it is for products that you're going to be touching, sitting around, exposed to. Now, the main reason for this product right here, or the counterpart that is not micro emulsion technology, is the fight against termites, and so you don't get mold and fungi built up on your wood, because it will happen very quickly over here. And I'm going to show you an example. Hold on. Now, an example of that mold you see on the end, that's what will happen. I cleaned up a lot of this wood right here, and this is the rafters, as well as here. You can see here, you see all the mold and fungi that's built up on there, and that's from the moisture. So what this product does over here, it works so that it doesn't build up that horrible stuff on the outside. It's not good for you because it's spores, and spores are not good for your respiratory system. And also, we want to protect our wood from termites. Like I said, a big problem over here. So the way you apply this is you apply it with a brush. Usually that's the most recommended way of doing it. And you do about 3 coats. You do 3 coats, light coats, just go over it one time. You don't have to go back and forth. 3 coats, let it dry, and then after you're done with that, you can apply whatever type of finish, whether it's paint, whether it is stain. You can do whatever you want after this has dried and cured. right, here it is the next morning. It's going to take a couple of days for that selenium to dry. It's normally a 24-hour period, but if you live someplace that it has a very high humid environment like we have here in the Philippines, especially right now during the rainy season, it's recommended to let it cure for 48 hours, let it dry for 48 hours before you do any other type of finish like paint or stain or anything that you want to put on top of that. So we're going to go ahead and let that set for 48 hours. Then we're going to put some decking stain on there, and the decking stain will actually add another layer of protection both to the UV rays that will be coming in from the sunlight, as well as a little bit of waterproof, water repellent, so that water doesn't absorb and sit inside, because we don't want any of this wonderful wood to be damaged by wood rot. Well, anyway, that's it for today's episode. What the next episode, I'm really not sure. We're going to play this by ear, because right now I have a lot of a lot of woodwork that needs to be done. The millwork, taking that really rough raw wood and using the joiner and the planer and the sander and everything that you've seen in the previous clips in today's episode. It has to be done. So I have 37 pieces of wood that have to be done like that, and also some of the cutting that needs to be done for the proper angles. So between now and the next video, it might be a few days, but who knows? With the magic of editing and sequencing properly, maybe they'll be in the same time frame as you see today's episode. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Please share, and if you have not subscribed, just click on that little MyPI Dream heart in the bottom right-hand side of your screen. And if you ring that bell, you'll be subscribed and notified the next time I upload a new video. So until such time, from right here in the Philippines, you have a wonderful and blessed day. If you enjoyed today's episode and you would like to see more just like these, just click on one of the helpful links over to your right, and you might be able to pick up on some good information on DIY projects, how to, or if you are interested in moving to the Philippines and building, you'll find answers there as well.